Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Talladega, Alabama. We are here for the first event in the Tyler Daniels Racing versus Nowski Nation Challenge. This is going to be a several month-long challenge that will pit both of these groups against each other for the ultimate prize of all the glory in the world. Got a lot of great racers here tonight, and of course it is Talladega, so it really doesn't matter how good they are. It's going to be nuts. They're going to be driving through. We've got people from all walks of life here tonight that are going to be going full bore through the field, trying to get to the front and take that checkered flag for their group for the first time. Obviously, they want to start at a super speedway and show us what they're made of. Tonight, we will go around this 2.66 mile storied tri-oval for 50 laps. They'll have one faster pair, 3 green-white checkers possible. So it could extend beyond that 50 laps, and we could see a large group of cars starting, but not nearly as many finishing because, as always at a super speedway, we are going to have a big one. I am quite sure of that. Matt Hughes, a.k.a. Pujanowski, is obviously leading his group. We'll have Blair Patterson leading the TDR group tonight. And with us in the booth helping tonight with communications, we will be talking to some of the drivers. We've got Tommy Hebert. Good evening, Tommy. Oh.
Well, I might need to turn my microphone on if I'm going to do this properly, huh? Good evening, Doug. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm glad to help you guys run this awesome event between TDR and Pujanowski. I'll be mostly silent most of the race, but when you need somebody in here, you just let me know, and we'll get them queued up, and we'll talk to some drivers tonight.
All right. Well, let's see if we can get a hold of Mr. Pujanowski himself. He just got back on track, so it's the perfect time to talk to him. As you see,
hey, Mr. Pujanowski, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me?
I got a read on you, brother.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, sorry. Hey, Matt, this is Doug. How you doing tonight, bud?
Doing good. Ready to get this thing fired up, baby.
All right. Now, first and most important question is who's going to win tonight?
Well, considering that with everything that's going on, Nowski Nation, we're about to take this thing to the house, and my mouth ain't going to be burnt, so I'm blessed, baby.
All right. Now, you do have the TDR drivers, a lot of them in the same colored car, and you guys are all running slightly different schemes on your team. So, got to ask, is that going to be to your advantage or your disadvantage with them running the same paints?
You know, that's a good question right there. I ain't really thought about that with everybody having the same paint, but at least I'll be able to point my guys out and know who I need to hook up with. Because whoever's got a different paint scheme, that's where I'll be going.
All right. Now, one last question on your team: who's your favorite person to work with on these big super speedways?
You gonna call me out like that? I'm not going, my boy Scott Snodgrass. We've ran a lot of super speedways together. We've worked together a lot on these things, so hopefully me and him can link up and take our team to the front, baby.
All right. Well, I know I have worked with Scotty Too Hottie a couple of times myself, and I know he'll help you get there when the night's done. Best of luck,
yes, brother.
Best of luck to you guys, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you again later.
Buddy, appreciate you.
All right. And Tommy, if you can, see if we've got a radio with Mr. Blair Patterson.
Yeah, give me just 1 second to get him dialed up here.
10-4.
Hey, Blair, this is Tommy in the booth. You got a read on me?
Yeah, I got you, buddy.
Hey, Blair, this is Doug. So you guys are all out there in matching cars. You're going to lead your team around. Let me ask, which team's going to win here tonight?
Man, that's not even a question. TDR's got this thing in the book. It's just which group of TDR is going to win it.
All right. You guys have all matching cars out there tonight, which is definitely going to be a little bit different, and it might be a little bit distracting. Is it going to give you guys an advantage once you get out on track?
And I'll tell you what, it's hard for me because I'm one of those guys that I'm used to being able to look at a car and know who's driving it, and then know, have I worked with this guy before? Is this guy a good pusher? Do I need to be in front of this guy? Do I need to be behind this guy? So I was just out there in practice a little bit ago trying to figure out all every time I look in a mirror out my windshield, it's a green car. So I'm not 100% sure what's the good pushers and what's the good leaders right now.
All right. Well, got to ask, of your team, do you have a preferred driver to work with, or are you going to try and figure it out as you go along?
Well, in super speedways, it's super hard to. I mean, you can have a plan until everything starts happening. So I've raced with a lot of these guys a lot of times, with all the TDR stuff, and I love racing with all these guys. But I do know the McCann brothers are always bad fast on super. All right, I don't have to even put on super speedways. The McCann brothers are bad fast on every track. So working with them, I've done that a few times on super speedways. So I'm probably going to be teaming up with them. Whatever it takes to get TDR to the front, keep Pujanowski in the back.
All right, man. Well, best of luck to you, and you guys, good luck tonight, and hopefully we'll be talking to you after the race.
Oh, yeah. Look to be talking to you a little bit later.
All right. And Tommy, I did forget when we had Pujanowski to mention that challenge. I'm sure we'll talk to him again before the night's out, but you have a little bit of a side bet going on tonight, don't you?
Yeah, so in the inaugural race, Andy, one of the leaders over at TDR, had a ice bucket challenge, which Pujanowski came through with. So in that tradition, I decided to challenge him to a Carolina Reaper challenge on his stream last night, which he accepted. So if he wins, I have to eat it. If we win, he has to eat it.
Nice. Well, it is great to have these two communities together, and I know that a lot of this racing tonight, you've got sponsors like McConey Setup Shops out there, but your big thing is you guys are big supporters of autism awareness and all the related Autism Speaks and other charities, and you even have your own charity, BACC Charities, that you guys raise money for the various charities you work with. You do a lot within both iRacing and within your communities in general.
Yeah, well, BACC Charities is basically an extension of the charitable efforts we started with Tyler Daniels Racing. So long story short, Tyler Daniels is a gentleman who's autistic, was getting teased in public lobbies. We made a group to provide him a non-toxic racing environment. Well, that environment took off. A lot of the people that are interested in that sort of thing are also interested in charitable efforts. And that being said, we decided to form our own 501c3 to fund things outside of the iRacing community and take our mission a little further.
That is awesome. That is it is Autism Awareness Month, so that is a huge thing that you guys are doing. Really appreciate that. I know the community in general appreciates it as well.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've already got some folks in the chat. Jeff Addesley, hello, good evening, buddy. We've got Cheering for Nowski Nation in the chat, but we do not quite yet have any TDR cheering, so if you got a favorite driver, drop their name in the chat. We'll make sure to take a look at them throughout the race, and might even ride along with some of these guys as the night goes on. As we reach the end of their practice session here, they will have a 5-minute qualifying session. We'll watch a couple of these guys turn some laps out here during their qualifying sessions, talk a little bit more about the track and about the race. Do want to point out, this is not a one-off race. We are going to have a full season schedule going forward. And the next race is, excuse me, I just went blank on it and I'm not seeing it in my notes.
I feel bad as the guy, assisting you in the booth tonight. I didn't have the schedule in front of me.
I thought I had it reasonably available, and I thought I had at least wrote down the next race. I had not. That was my bad, but, these things happen when you start off one of these series. I do know it is, we're going to be running through the end of August every couple of Friday nights, the late night series, so this will definitely be quite an interesting challenge. Now, are you guys going to be, is TDR going to be challenging the Nowski Nation to different things for each week like you're doing with the Pepper?
Yeah, each race is going to be a different car, different track, and in addition to that, as long as Pujanowski continues to agree to it, we're going to have a gentleman's bet with Pujanowski himself, to entertain the fans, and one of our TDR members willing to take one for the team.
That is awesome. All right, so tonight is Cups cars at Talladega. Obviously, the 23rd of April we'll have Gander Trucks at Michigan. The 7th of May will be Xfinity at Chicagoland, and May 21st is ARCA at Kansas. I got to tell you, of these races, that That is my second favorite one I'm looking forward to. Then we move to June 4th is Cup Cars at Daytona. June 18th is Trucks at Eldora. The 25th will be Xfinity at Phoenix. Then ARCA at Kentucky on July 16th. July 30th will be Super Late Models at Atlanta. And my favorite race, will wrap it up on August 6th, will be Cup Cars at iRacing Super Speedway. The big 3-mile unrestricted pure awesomeness.
That is going to be one heck of an event at that super speedway.
You know, I'm going to date myself with saying this one, but I remember the day that NASCAR Racing 2002 came out with that track on it, and it was a big deal having that track. And you even got a little video of Darrell Waltrip talking you through driving the track, and it was just amazing, and we're really glad to have it back in iRacing.
Absolutely. I'm going to have to look that video up after this broadcast.
I'll see if I can help you find it. It was really cool. They had Darrell Waltrip do quite a few videos for that, so it was really quite awesome.
I'm sure a lot of the old timers out there would like to see it.
Yeah, it is definitely cool. It takes me back to when I first started sim racing back in 1990 something. We'll leave it at that.
Yep, same here.
All right, so looking through the list, let's go down the list while we're watching Adam Ricci qualify out there for TDR. Going through the Nowski Nation drivers list, we got Scotty Too Hotty Snodgrass, Brad Hunt, Clint Hackett, Dean Webb, Dennis Powell Jr., Gary, and I'm going to butcher this, but Jazorski, Justin Swafford, Kenny Hyder Jr., Mike Butler, Ricky Whitwell, Steven Scott Jr., John Lucido Jr., Kevin Bernheimer, and Dustin Slover. And then from TDR, we'll have Adam Ricci, Kevin Duroni, Blair Patterson, Brian McCann, Kevin McCann, Andy Schooner, Dakota Bro, Matthew Wheeler, Dustin. You want to tell me how to pronounce that last name?
Valdhusen.
Ah, okay. Jamie Krause, John Humphrey, Marty Brown, Keith Fonseca, and I'm not even going to try and pronounce Brendan's last name. Brendan Schoner, I think.
So, just to clarify, the Showeeners, it's actually Shaner.
Oh, got it.
And just a real quick funny story pre-broadcast as we were having the drivers meeting. So Dustin Valdhusen and Dustin Slover, correct? His name in the Discord channel was Dustin's Lover.
Oh,
and
no.
I thought he was on Team TDR.
That is hilarious. And another interesting fact that I noticed going through that list, TDR has the McCann brothers, and if you've seen Secondhand Lions, that name rings a bell. And those guys were pretty awesome at everything they did. So we'll see if the McCann brothers, we heard them in pre-race talking about how awesome they are at just about every track and how fast they are. So we'll see.
We're very proud to have them at the events they can find the time to run.
That is great. And out there you see Scotty Too Hotty getting in his qualifying lap. Right now, Brian McCann is actually the fastest on the board after completing his laps. So that definitely starting to ring true already here tonight, but qualifying does not matter a bit here at Talladega because they can go from the front to the back to the front again in just a lap or two. And we're starting to get some cheering for TDR in the chat now.
So super speedway racing is what I call opportunity racing. It's not about where you qualify. It's not about where you are. It's all about where you finish.
That is extremely true, and it's all about, as Dale Jr. likes to say, if you get that run, you have to take it.
Amen.
All right, qualifying is just about done. Going over some last-minute notes here. This is a 2.66-mile track, and the place that is going to be the biggest struggle for these guys will be the entry to turn 1 and the entry to turn 3. You tend to have a bit of a checkup as you go into those turns, and that is where you see a lot of snaking and a lot of accordioning And that gets to be really, really interesting, and you get a lot of wrecks if somebody in line doesn't get checked up when everybody else does. So it's on the leaders to kind of keep things stable. The interesting fact about Talladega is both ends of the track are actually banked slightly differently. Turns 1 and 2 are at 33 degrees. Turn 3 is at 32.4, and turn 4 is at 32.5, and that little bit of banking in 3 and 4 where that on the outside up top you get that transition, and it can cause some problems as they start to grid. On the the lineup for this battle will be Brian McCann on the front row with Patrick Gitter, Justin Swafford and Marty Brown on the second row, Adam Ricci and Jeremy Edwards third row. Then you've got James Krause, Kevin McCann, Dakota Brow, and Matthew Wheeler round out the top 10. Scotty Tuhati and Pujanowski start on the sixth row.
I see a lot of names on both sides equally represented up there in the top 10.
I do too. Just looking back through the field, a couple of names that stick out. Blair Patterson, he is starting in 22nd, and I got to give a shout out to my buddy Kevin Bernheimer starting in 20th.
We've got our truck ringer for TDR, Keith Fonseca, starting back there in 24th. He's not the best at qualifying, but he's one to watch in a pack.
I know quite a few people. Qualifying here is almost an art form. I don't even try half the time because I know I'm not going to qualify good. But some of these guys put in some really hot laps in these Cup cars.
Me personally, I like to start in the back. I like to wait for the big one. Once the big one happens, I'll start making my way forward. There's no point being up front to me at the beginning of a super speedway race.
This is very true, and as these guys get ready to roll off, it looks like everybody's just about out there. See a couple of guys that might have a little bit of connection issue and be blinking a little bit. That can cause a lot of problems once they get up to speed. Getting up to speed can be tricky too, but a lot of these guys will hopefully smooth out. Once a car in front of you start blinking in and out, not only do you not know where they're at, but it does actually affect the draft. So once that car is not there, you lose that little bit of draft there. And get down to the end of a race and you need every bit of draft you can get, that could come into play as well.
That's a very interesting point. I'm sure with the team communications, everyone's calling out the blinker to their teammates, but I had no idea it affected the draft.
Yeah, it actually it is just like losing the draft. It looks like there might be some problems getting started mid-pack. Looking back in the pack, there's a couple of cars that got the inside line didn't get a real good start. But if you are behind somebody and they blink out, you lose the draft there. If you listen closely, you'll hear your RPMs drop just a little bit, and then they'll come right back up when they reappear.
You're going to have to change the name of this broadcast from How to Suck at iRacing to How to Improve, because that's information I didn't have.
Oh, but it would end up being a lie. And looks like we got everybody lined back up finally. Everybody is getting squared away back in the pack. Yep, everybody's starting to tighten up, so there will be no delay here. So we are going to go green flag, 30 cars on track, 15 from each team, and it is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It is going to be one heck of a battle here tonight, and it'll be one heck of a racing season with these guys going off every other Friday night right here.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I believe the point system is structured. Only the top 10 cars from each team score points. So at the end of the day, more cars in the top 10 basically equals a W.
Yeah, that is a huge win. I've done a couple of series like that, and you can strategize to get yourself into the win, but if you want your team to win, your best bet is just making sure you pack that top 10 up. And right now, that top 10 is split pretty evenly between both teams.
I'm not one to pick favorites as a broadcaster. That's not something we do, but you have to admit, those TDR cars look good out there.
It is cool having all those cars matching, and it's definitely going to work. We heard Blair mention it might work and it might hinder him, and it definitely is going to help out the Nowski Nation knowing who they're working with, but it might, there's no telling who's going to benefit from this. All right, Pace truck is in and waiting for it. Green flag is in the air. They are off and running at the first TDR versus Nowski Nation race here at Talladega. Off into turn one. Everybody is smooth so far. There was actually no accordioning in the back of the pack. Everybody stayed together really well. For a bunch of guys who've not raced together a lot, that's it's impressive to get this far along and everybody be so close together.
Well, you've got a bunch of guys. It's two leagues competing, right? So all the TDR guys run together, all the Blair guys run together. And it's a 15 versus 15 team race. So not only are they trying to protect their own positions, they're trying to protect their teammates.
Yep, and it doesn't look like we're going to have a lot of protection. We've got a TDR car. He looked like he was going to go out and make it 3 wide there. Did not make the move. The 21's still there on the outside, but looked like the car right behind him was going to make a move there. Didn't, and we're starting to see some cars come through the field. On the first lap, Dean Webb gains 5 spots from 16th to 11th. Rick Whitwell is up 5 spots as well from 18th to 13th. So we've got several cars coming up. Kevin Bernheimer's another one. Started 20th, and he is up to 15th now. And we've got 1 car off the back.
Well, I think at this point, too, anyone in front of you right now is a teammate. We're really going to see that teamwork come into play through the pit stops, trying not to lose the draft, trying to stay with your guys, and towards the end of the race. Right now, it's just kind of maintain, run your race, stay comfortable until it's time to get tires and fuel.
Yeah, and that is definitely true, and they will be able to do this race. They should be able to make it on one stop, but the fuel is going to be very close because they are running a 75% fuel load. They don't really need to take tires here. 50 laps on a set of tires here, not that big of a deal, but the fuel is going to be the concern, and the man up front, Brian McCann, leading it. Right now, he is in the catbird seat. He can just sit down there on the bottom, let whatever happens, happens, but he's also burning up a lot more fuel than anybody else. So we'll see how that plays out, as there's a lot of lane changing going on mid-pack.
Well, based on our calculations as the TDR team set up this race, basically the fuel window is about 25 laps. Obviously the leaders are going to be at a fuel disadvantage. Guys out of the draft are going to be at a disadvantage, but everyone in the draft should be one stop good to the end.
And we do now have a second pack forming towards the back. Let's see who is leading this. Looks like Dustin Veldhusen is leading the pack up there along with Andy. There's a couple of guys back there mid that have broke off, and it's a split between both teams. So it looks like the TDR team's got about 5-6 cars out there, and it looks like the Nowski Nation has about 5 cars out there as well, and looks like they're going to hang back and play it safe. They're not really battling, mostly single file. Up front, they started getting a little antsy. Some of these guys were getting 3 wide early in the race, and we're only 4 laps in, and we were seeing some 3 wide at the front. So looks like Kevin McCann's actually working his way up to his brother. He started in 7th, and he started in 8th. He's up to 5th now.
Well, if you've ever seen the McCanns run, you know those two will find each other, and they will run very strong. I'm willing to bet the team split as far as the front pack and the back pack is more than likely an intentional decision on behalf of both teams.
I would probably say the same thing. It looks like Matt Pujanowski Hughes is currently running in 10th, and I was looking. It looks like Scott has actually started dropping back, and he might be, as they're getting a little dicey back there by Scott, it looked like he was dropping back intentionally. I think he's going to hang off the back of this lead pack until we get a little further into this. Kind of an unusual move for Scott. Wow.
I like the extra syllable you put there in move.
Well, that was definitely an interesting move to get down to the inside, but now he is tucked in down at the back of the pack. So it looks like we're seeing a couple of teams, like you said, they have split pretty evenly throughout the track, and I do believe we are seeing a group. It looks like the split is actually at the front. In the front 5, you've got a pretty even split, the front 10 anyway, and each set of 10 cars is pretty evenly broke up. So I think they have intentionally 3 different teams, possibly 3 different strategies out there.
That wouldn't surprise me. I mean, with super speedway racing, strategy is king, and there's some guys that think outside the box. I mean, maybe we are running 3 strategies within one team here.
It could be, and I got to tell you, one I'm watching right now, the Nowski driver, Kevin Bernheimer. There he is. He is one I have driven with, and I know him and Scott both are extremely fast, and if they get connected, that could be trouble for the TDR team. But as we mentioned, the McCann brothers up there at the front. Caution is out. We have our first caution. It looks like DJ Powell. Oh, let's see what happened. Looks like a bump draft got a little too aggressive. A couple of cars got collected in that. Looks like Keith Fonseca, and I can't tell who else, but yeah, we've got at least 2 cars and 1 from each team that are going to have to go use that single fast repair already.
Ooh, and just a reminder, 1 fast repair in these league races, so we try to keep it as real as possible to traditional NASCAR racing. If anybody doesn't know, the fast repair, you can repair your virtual race car instantly. Get you back up and running, but we only allow it 1 time. Any incidents after that, and you're gonna have to sit in the pits for a little while.
Yeah, and once you get very much aero damage, these cars are really good, especially with that big spoiler. They knock such a big hole in the air that if you've got slight damage to your car, you can actually make it a little bit with as long as you're hanging in the draft, but you'll never be able to get up in the front and lead without an almost perfect car. It's not like the olden days where you can knock a fender off of it and still be okay, or like an 87 car where you can knock part of the back end off and still be going.
I was just going to ask if you've driven an 87 car, because those things are like demolition derby cars.
They are, and I drove a lot of the races the first week. I'm actually thinking about doing the race tomorrow at Wilkesboro, so we'll see how that goes. I love driving those cars at that track. It brings back memories of watching that last race there and Jeff Gordon winning it. So
I know TDR actually runs an 87 league on Thursdays. I believe the new season starts in 2 weeks, and it's a fantasy clash, so throwback paint schemes are encouraged.
Oh, wow, look at that. We've got some guys that are faking to pit road. We're only 5-6 laps into this thing, and these guys are actually trying to pull a fast one. I do think we'll see some cars hit pit road just to top off on fuel. Blair Patterson hits pit road, Dustin Veldhusen, Brandon Shaner, I'll get that right in a minute. Brandon Shaner's on pit road. DJ Powell obviously on pit road. So we've got a little bit of both teams hitting pit road here.
It's interesting.
Well, if they get more cautions, they'll be able to save fuel, and if they top off now, this strategy might work out. They can sit at the back with that group that falls off the back and just play it safe for a little bit.
I'm wondering, I didn't catch it during the chaos of the cameras, but was it the back pack that pitted first?
Yes, indeed. It was, there was 3 cars out of the back pack that went into pit road, so not a huge surprise. I am surprised with those cars going in that nobody else at the back went in, and it looks like, I do not believe Keith pitted. Let's check the pit strategy here, because I do not believe it looked like he might have kept it off the wall. That is not showing us. That's showing us the leaders.
Fonseca was involved in that first incident, correct?
Yep, and it looks like as he came by, it looks like he's got a little bit of scrape to the right front, but he was on the brakes. And yeah, he does have a little bit of damage, but it's pretty minor. So he might be able to stick it out and not use that fast repair. You kind of want to hold on to that as long as you possibly can. Talladega, the fact that it was a wreck with only 2 cars is pretty impressive, but I imagine for it's out, we are going to see the big one, and it's just a question of when.
Well, with the amount of red lights I see coming on within the team communication channels, I'm willing to bet that was discussed amongst the teammates that could see him, and his teammates advised him to stay out because the damage was minor. That may or may not be the right call, but I'm willing to bet that's what happened.
He had a couple of teammates around him, so I am sure he got that car checked out. If anything, he went down pit road. I do not see an indicator that he did go down pit road, but no, he did not. So he could go down pit road and get manual repairs. It's so minor, though, that he may not need them. And like I say, he's hanging out in that backpack, so might as well hang out and save everything for later.
Oh, me personally, if it was my race to run, I would actually turn off my fast repair if I'm running in the backpack, and at least come in for 30 seconds of optional, just to try to improve that aero package, get back out there and be competitive.
Yeah, that is generally the smart move to do here. I have done that quite recently, as a matter of fact, and yeah, that can save you a lot of different times. Just getting those manual repairs, and these pace laps are so long, you can actually get roughly a minute and 15 seconds of repairs if you can hit the pit road right behind the leaders and get up there, get in your pit box with no problems. You can get a minute 15's worth of repairs here. So
Yeah, it's an unusual move for Fonseca. You would think with the amount of team communication we've already seen established over here in the Discord group that they would be able to tell him where the pace car is, when to come out. There shouldn't be an issue going a lap down here for manual repairs.
And just a shout out, looks like Andrew Lemke is about to raid this stream or is joining us. So thank you, Andrew. You the man. And
You are the man.
and it looks like the lights are out on the pace car as they come down the back straightaway. So we will get to see them green flag racing. Note now, first place is still Brian McCann, and his brother Kevin is in third directly behind him. So that brother team is probably going to be a force to be reckoned with here, and they could theoretically, if they needed to, they could switch places and let Brian save some fuel down the line. So this is going to work out definitely to their benefit.
I wouldn't be surprised. I've watched a lot of McCann racing, and they very willingly swap places for both of them to save fuel. As brothers, these guys work together so well. You'll notice they're the only two guys on the TDR team not representing the TDR race scheme.
Yeah, that is an interesting note. I had to look and double check because that was a little bit of a surprise to see them not in the TDR green and yellow cars.
I'm glad that TDR has them. I'm a TDR guy. I support TDR, but the McCanns, we're just lucky to have them on our side, really. They are a force to be reckoned with, and they do their own thing.
And I think I will go forward referring to them as Brothers McCann because it's now stuck in my head, and I'm probably going to have to watch Secondhand Lions tomorrow just because it is.
It sounds like the name of a country music group, Brothers McCann.
It does. Green flag back in the air. Brothers McCann jump out to a good lead. They're not gonna get very far ahead, but that at least allows the two of them to get into their position where they want to be. We'll see if Brian lets Kevin jump to the front. He keeps looking a little bit high there, but nope, coming out of turn two, all good. There's still 1-2. Going back through the field, looking for Scott Snodgrass, one of the two leads for the Nowski Nation. He is up to 12th. And Matt Hughes is in 9th. And let's see where. Looking through, Blair Patterson is back in 24th, leading the second pack. So that is definitely a strategy move there. He's got several TDR members back there. He's another TDR member not driving the green car tonight. But he has got his 1, 2, 3 of his teammates back there versus just a couple of the Nowski Nation guys, and they've put a little bit of distance between them and the lead pack. They're staying single file, and this might be the smart move right now.
Well, I know Blair Patterson, actually in the inaugural impromptu TDR versus Pujanowski, which we just jumped into and did, spawn this whole thing, Blair Patterson was actually the TDR victor coming in P1.
Well, looks like his strategy may play out and get him back up to the front. He's definitely got a strong team, and he knows where to go to get some help here as these lead cars come around. Looking through the field to see who's moved the most, Kevin McCann, he is in second, up from starting in 8th. Kevin Bernheimer, one of the biggest movers so far, started in 20th, now up to 7th.
Very good.
Gary is in 10th after starting 15th. Right behind him is Dean Webb in 11th, who started 16th. So those two are obviously got something going there. And those are some of the biggest movers out there. Other than Kenny Hyde Jr., who started in 30th, he is up to 22nd right now, and he is hanging out in that backpack as well. Looks like that strategy is going to pay off a little bit for him as well. And he's hanging at the back of the backpack. Now there's 3 packs. There's a front pack, a middle pack, and a backpack.
I love seeing the strategy play out. Now that they've all sorted out single file, we're going to coast for a bit. I love to see this whole 3-pack thing. and I see an equal representation of each team in each pack.
Yeah, and that is extremely interesting. You know that these teams talked about keeping some guys back in the back in reserve, but
Absolutely.
but seeing them split up into 3 different packs like this, and it looks like that middle pack is getting a little bit racy up there. Looks like Scott Snodgrass is leading them around right now. And, yep, they're too wide back here, so they're not going to catch right back up to the lead pack. As long as they're staying too wide, they'll gain a little bit, but they are a bigger pack, but that too wide battling right there is going to slow them down a little bit. If that third pack decides to pull back up, they definitely will have an easy time doing it. They're going to have this too wide. It's going to punch a huge hole in the air for them.
Ooh, this is going to get dicey pretty quick. I wouldn't be surprised if we see another yellow here within the next 5 to 10 laps.
Yep, the interesting thing here with the tri-oval is when you come off of turn 4, it goes down to a 5-degree banking. But when you come out of turn 4, you hit 5 degrees. Going through the tri-oval, you're back to 16.5 degrees. Then you go back to 5 degrees before you hit turn 1. All those different transitions there move the cars around just a little bit. In addition to that, the cars moving around at the front the air will affect the cars handling behind them and move them around as well. The air can actually push a car behind you around. As we see, it looked like Clint Hackett, I believe, that just shot up coming through turns 3 and 4, like he couldn't hold the bottom there briefly.
Yeah, one of the things that hurts me about, say, non-NASCAR fans is they say, oh, these guys are just turning left. No, anyone who's ever run a large track, virtual or real life, you understand the air matters, the way the track is shaped matters, and the car matters. These things are very, very, very difficult to drive at high speeds, especially when you're in the pack with all that buzz around you.
Yeah, and one of the interesting tidbits in relation to that is there was an episode of the old Top Gear with where Richard Hammond went to a NASCAR race, and he talked to Juan Pablo Montoya, and he was talking to him because Montoya has raced Indy cars, open wheel cars, but then he hopped over into NASCAR, and he was talking about how the Indy car feels very, very planted around the track anywhere you go with it because of the downforce. These cars are constantly moving. You're not necessarily, you're in control to a degree, but the car, the air, and then they have no brakes. His exact words were, when I mean no brakes, I mean no brakes. So these guys, they get up there and it gets a little bit dicey and a little bit hard to control as we've got a bit of a change at the front.
3 wide in the back.
And Kevin McCann is taking the lead from his brother. It looks like Brian.
Here they go.
Yep. They are getting very yep, they're going 3 wide. And they're almost getting into each other. It looked like a block move there.
Whew.
In that 21, the old Wood Brothers paint scheme, it looked like he was going for a block right there in front of Bernheimer. A couple of guys get the momentum. The outside line definitely has the momentum on the straightaways, but the inside line has it in the corners. And
Doug, I got to tell you, I'm sweating just watching this.
every time you talk, I'm grabbing a drink of water because this is definitely getting a bit dicey up here. And it is interesting to see that we talked about the brothers McCann again. Brian led, but he led quite a few laps. But the fuel, he hopped back in line, let his brother take the lead there for just a little bit.
I'm willing to bet we'll continue to see that throughout the race. If anyone has seen the McCanns run, these guys are an impeccable force because they are an impeccable team. You know, you've seen the Busch brothers run in super speedways, right? Kurt and Kyle, they do the same thing the McCanns do, man. It's more family than team oriented.
Except for that year where they weren't talking. Yeah,
we don't talk about that.
Yeah. As they get a little bit settled down up at the front, and take a look back in the mid-pack, they are settled down as well. It looks like everybody's settled in, but we're also approaching we're about 5 laps away from what should be green flag pit stops.
Yep, roughly 25 laps, at least for the leaders. Obviously, the guys in the draft are going to be staving a bit, but we would expect them all to pit together in the pack.
And it is getting a bit dicey. Looking through, we've got an equal balance of people cheering on TDR and the Nowski Nation now. And
yeah, quite a few viewers here. do your thing. I'm going to scroll back and see if we have any shout-outs that need to be brought up.
Oh, okay. And while he is doing that, and we're watching Scotty Too Hotty lead pack number 2, we'll go back and look at pack number 3. Hit that share button while we're at it. Go ahead and get some more people in here. Let's see which team can get the most people cheering in here.
And after you hit that share, don't forget to like and follow so you can see all the future TDR versus Pudge events coming up.
Yep. So we'll be back 2 weeks from now, and that will be another exciting battle.
So while they're settled out, if you don't mind, I'm going to run through some of the guys up in the chat here. We got Sam Barnhart, TDR to the top, Joshua Hessen, hashtag Nowski Nation. Becky Flowers is on Team Nowski. Sam Barnhart, again spamming TDR. Hessen comes back as Nowski. Andrew Lemke on Team TDR. Becky Follower, Team Nowski. Sam Barnhart just realized the McCann brothers hooked up and it's over for Pudge.
Could very well be the way they're working together here tonight. And
Yeah.
as always, I have to give a shout out to Becky. She is awesome. She drops in and watches a lot of our broadcasts, so huge shout out to her. And of course, I know who she's cheering for. She's cheering for that number 22 car.
Hey, we're only here for the fans, right?
That's right. And he is staying clean so far. This is a little bit different out of Scott. I'm seeing him be a little bit more patient than what we would usually see. That definitely has got to be part of the strategy there. And another one that is a little bit of a surprise, usually Bernheimer is a lot more patient early on and comes storming to the front later, but there he is up in the top 5. So a little bit, some of these guys taking a little bit different roles here. And I know you've watched a lot of TDR. Are we seeing any of that same kind of thing out of those guys?
Yeah, I'm watching the team comms, and the Pudjanowski team and the TDR team. Their microphones are lighting up like crazy. I don't know what they're talking about because I'm here with you, just wondering. But I see a lot of moves that aren't traditional with what I see out of these drivers. We expect Adam Rickey to be up here in the front, and he's running in the back. So it's very surprising on our end as well.
Interesting note: Marty Brown is on pit road alone at the moment.
Oh no.
I do not know. Oh, it looks like he's had some problems. He is blowing up. He might have been too tight in the draft and blown his motor, but there he is, and he may not make it back around, but he is staying low on the track, not going to bring the caution out, fortunately. And I know we're going to start seeing some green flag stops here momentarily with in the next couple of laps. Be interesting to watch which group goes first. There is enough of a gap between all the different groups right now that they could take the entire group in without impacting the group behind.
Well, I just noticed in our chat, Sam Barnhart specifically, Blair Patterson, number 91, and then we have, I believe it's Val Hewson's wife, maybe daughter, cheering for Team TDR. I really do hope, though, with Marty with those engine troubles, a lot of times when you lose an engine, it's roughly a 30-minute repair in the pits. So let's hope his required's not too bad because that's going to be a big blow to TDR.
One down, and we've got Marty Brown. He is still on track trying to get back around, but hopefully he'll be able to get in there. Hopefully he has his fast repair and saves that engine. That is one of the problems that you do have here at Daytona, at Talladega. You tuck up and you're pushing the guy in front of you, or you're trying to get that run, and you sit there too long. If you don't pay attention to those gauges, that temperature gauge hits that red area, and if it stays there too long, if you don't move out, that's when you start having problems. You've seen a lot of guys moving around here. You watch them going through the turns, going down the straightaway, they'll duck out just a little bit and try and keep that air clean.
Yeah, absolutely. To the point of, quote, Brothers McCann, how they exchange positions for fuel savings when they're running up front. At the same time, they're also keeping both of their engines cool by allowing the other partner to suck up some fresh air.
Yep, and it looks like Marty Brown did blow his engine on the back straightaway, so he had to get towed. He'll be a couple of laps down before he gets out if they continue to stay green. He will be in the position. He'll be the only car laps down. So Brendan Shaner is actually showing as a lap down at the moment. So not sure what happened there, but these guys are going to have to hope for something to happen that doesn't involve them and get a chance to get back up there.
Yeah, unfortunate for TDR, but again, going back to the point system, the bottom 5 cars don't really matter when it comes to the points at the end of the day for the series.
And that is a lot of team racing sports, when they do it like that, that is definitely a benefit. You can lose one or two and still be in the fight in team racing. And both of the teams have a pretty even split right now in their cars up at the front. It looks like TDR has the majority in the second pack, and in the front pack it looks like it's mostly Nowski Nation cars right now. That'll definitely play into the pit strategy as well.
I am just as excited as you are to see how this plays out. Real quick, we're going to throw some shout-outs to the Facebook chat. Arthur O'Connor for Nowski Nation. We have Jeremy Gaiman, who is part of Mike Smith's team in the TDR Veterans Only League, obviously going for TDR. And then Joshua Hessen, a big yes, sir, for Team Nowski.
Yes, indeed. And huge shout-out to, as we talked about before the race, TDR does a lot for the autism and a lot of charities, but we also have you guys put on a veterans league, and it's veterans only, so that gives those guys a chance to shine. And in some cases, I know a couple of guys, friends of mine, that are veterans. In some cases, these kind of things help with dealing with what they come back from being at war with, the PTSD and things like that, and just coping.
Absolutely.
Having a group like this, it's huge for these guys.
Yeah, a big part of what we've discovered with the veterans, like this wasn't even our intention, is that these guys, a lot of them have physical disabilities, which is great. We give them a place to race. We don't complain if they're slow because their knees hurt or whatever the case may be. But these guys with PTSD, especially in this time of COVID, they're stuck at home. They don't have a great support system, and TDR has done a really good job of being that support system for these gentlemen. I just saw Jeremy Gaiman, part of Mike Smith's team. If I remember correctly, Mike Smith actually heads up the esports division of the Navy. They have a whole division dedicated to esports to help these guys kind of cope with their problems when they're coming home.
That is awesome. Looks like we are starting to see, looks like the entire front pack, a large portion of the field is now on pit road for those green flag pit stops. 23 laps to go, and we've only got about 8 cars now out on track. Adam Ricci, James Krause, and Andrew Shaner leading them around at the moment. And these two are actually out there alone. They're going to have to stop and get packed back up because they have no help. Here they come. Those 2 leaders are to pit road.
Well, I think at this point, the guys up front are they're ready to pit together and they're ready to keep running, and they don't want a yellow. Everyone in the back wants to stack it back up.
That is definitely the case, but looks like everybody's coming back out fairly similar positions, as there goes Pudge himself back out on track after that. It looks like his group is still fairly close together. They should be able to work back to getting back together. At the moment, it is Blair Patterson up in the lead, but he is by himself, and he's got a couple of cars that are laps down right behind him who've just come off pit road. They're going to come flying back up and gather him up as well. Looks like a couple of TDR members. Just looking back through the field. Yep, we've got one car. That's Dustin. He is on the lead lap. Adam Ricci is coming off pit road now.
Now, is that Dustin Valhusen or Dustin's lover?
Valhusen.
So as we cycle through these pit stops over in the Facebook chat, we got Auto Cruz on Team Nowski with 2 likes behind that one. Speaking of Mike Smith, he popped up. He can't decide between TDR and Pujanowski because he loves both groups so much. We've got one more for TDR, and then O'Connor popped back in asking about the Vets League. Arthur, yes, the answer to your question is yes. We do broadcast the Veterans Only League. It is the only league that TDR broadcasts.
And that is awesome. That gives those guys, I know that there's some special stuff coming in this season to help honor them. That is really a cool thing to be doing for a lot of those guys.
Yeah, we're proud of it. We really polished it up. We got a lot of slick graphics coming for everyone involved. We've got a team of 7 people involved in the broadcast. It's going to be a really good-looking thing.
I'll definitely be tuning in just to cheer on my buddy Mike Smith tomorrow night in Boogity Motorsports. And he's doing some awesome paint for me, as does I have to split it between my friends Scotty Too Hottie and Mike Smith, but they both do some great paint schemes, and huge shout out to both of them. Now they are back out, but the one car that has not pitted yet is Blair Patterson.
That's a tough call. I think he's going to end up coming alone unless he's worked something out with his team communications to have somebody come with him, and that's a bad call if he's coming by himself.
It looks like Veldhuizen has not pitted yet. They pitted at lap 8. And they've got one more back in the back, Dowman, who pitted at the same time on that first caution. So that might play into their hand. You know, they'll have at least 3 cars to go together, but I guarantee you they're sitting there just hoping that they get that caution and can trap a couple guys a lap down. Right now, just from the looks of it, we've got about 8-9 cars currently a lap down.
Yeah, I think strategies, I mean, it's always rolling the dice when you do something differently than what the other guys are doing. And at the end of the day, the right strategy is the one that wins. And no one knows what the right strategy is until it's the one that wins, right?
Yeah, and it's a roll of the dice every time you come to one of these super speedway restrictor plate races. It's you never know until you know, and you don't know until the checkered flag drops. So everything could change on the last lap. The race I was in the other night here at Talladega, I went from being a banged up car with 5 laps to go to picking up about 5 spots there because of a crash coming out of turn 3. So
again, my term for it is opportunity racing. If you show up to a super speedway, you have an opportunity to win. Doesn't matter what happens.
that is true. As long as you can hold a line in the draft, and everybody here is doing a great job, and they are still split into, it looks like we might actually have more than 3 packs now, as you've got a 4-car pack back here. And it looks like the brothers McCann are leading Matt Hughes around with Dowman back there in another group with Bernheimer and Snodgrass. And looks like those 3-4 cars right there are starting to pull back up onto the next group. Once they get that bigger pack, that lead pack is only 5 cars. They're going to have about a 10-car train coming here in just a moment. And that lead pack is going to get run over. Things will start getting exciting again very, very quickly as these groups start to reform.
Yeah, and it's good to see Pudjanowski getting up there towards the front. As one of the team leaders between the 2 Facebook groups that are competing here, it's good to see a team leader up there. If Andy, if you can hear me, step up your game, brother.
Let's see, where is Andy running at the moment? Let's look through. Trying to find, oh, there he is. He is currently running in 17th in that group, and they're getting a little dicey as one hits down on the apron, manages to save it. Looks like that was, trying to see exactly who that was. He was going backwards. That is DJ Howe. No, that is not DJ.
That is, I can't see the number on the car. I'm not as close to the track as you are. I'm sitting way up in the nosebleeds.
Yeah.
I didn't buy good tickets to this.
It looks like it was one of the lapped cars trying to just get back in a draft, and
that's unfortunate. With a lapper touching a lead lapper.
John Lucido. So he was trying to get back in line, and it looks like he did not manage to get back in line, so he's kind of hung out right now. He's got a couple car pack right behind him. Might be able to get reconnected, but yeah, once you're down on the apron here, if you're down on the apron in the turn, you've just got to hold on to it and try and make something happen once you can get back out on track. But good job on him for not causing any problems and not coming back up on track in front of those cars that were right beside him.
Well, it looks like we need another shout out to O'Connor. He's going to be tuning in for the Vets broadcast, and we need another shout out to Joshua Hessen because he's going to be turning into your page on a regular basis.
That is awesome. There is a lot of great broadcasting going on here, and with TDR getting some veterans broadcasted, another awesome thing. And you can tune in and see me suck at iRacing from time to time too.
Well, let me ask you, Doug. While we're live on air, there's not a lot of action on the track. Would you be interested in being a special guest tomorrow night?
Oh, depending on the time, I might be able to make that work.
If you're able to make it, we'd love to have you on and talk a little bit about your channel and get some of that mutually beneficial exposure we all crave in the media industry.
That would be awesome. I would absolutely love to do that. And right now, the 2 that stayed out, that was Blair and
Veldhuizen.
Yeah, Veldhuizen. They just ducked off to pit road, just the 2 of them. So they did not get with the 3rd car. I believe it was Dowman. He did not come down with them. Looks like Dowman actually pitted a couple laps ago by himself. He's showing a lap down now as well.
Interesting.
Yeah, if they don't get a caution, that strategy might be about to bite them very badly.
Yeah, big gamble there.
Looks like the front four is the McCann brothers with Adam Ricci leading those and Pujanowski at the back. The second group is coming. They've got Scotty Too Hottie and Kevin Bernheimer along with Jeremy Edwards. That 3-4 car pack back there. And a little further back, we've got another group starting to come up as well. Now, I'm seeing an interesting situation with some of these groups. As we see Bernheimer up here, they're actually too wide up there. That's going to allow that group behind them to catch back up, and they're not going to pick up a lot of ground on them.
You know, I'm a big fan of Adam. So you say Richie? I thought it was the same thing. It's actually Adam Ricky.
Oh.
But a big fan of his with BAMF Motorsports. I'm actually surprised there is a name ahead of the McCanns.
That is interesting, but you got to wonder, those McCanns, they're right there. They can sit in second. They can second and third, hold on to some fuel. I believe that they pitted on about lap 26, 27, so they can actually make it, but better safe than sorry. Sit back there right along. There's only 4 of them, and until the next pack catches up, there's really no reason for them to try and run out front. They can take it easy right there for now.
Yeah, I think as those final 3 have cycled through their pit stops, at this point, everyone's good to go. And again, opportunity racing. It's not where you are. It's where you finish. It's going to come down to the last 2 to 3 laps, as long as we stay green.
It definitely is. And now this 3-car pack, Scotty Too Hottie is leading his team, his little group there. They are starting to come back up to the 3-car pack in front of them. They actually have a lap car in front of that 3-car pack. So they're going to get reunited here in a moment. That'll be an 8-car pack. And that front 4 cars, they've got a bit of a gap right now from Matt back to Kevin, but it's not going to last long. 4 cars in a draft versus about 8 cars in a draft, and they've got just about a straightaway lead with 12 laps to go. It's going to be questionable if that second pack can catch them.
So I'm about to date myself. When you said reunited, the song that came to mind in pack racing is Reunited, and it feels so good.
The same thing came into my head.
Really though, this pack racing, you have to be with your teammates. You have to be with people you trust, even if they're not your teammates. If you can trust them, you can run with them. Because at the end of the day, with opportunity racing,
caution is out.
Oh my goodness. And the whole game has changed.
Again, and it does, I'm not seeing anything that there was an accident. Looking through the field real quick to see, we didn't get an alert to tell us what happened. I'm not sure if there is a car broke down. It's missing his entire front end. Right behind us, Dean Webb is missing his front end. Let's see if we can find out what happened.
Yeah, let's take it back and find out. This is going to shake up everything. I don't expect to see a lot of pit strategy here. Everyone's good on fuel. 50 laps at Dega. No one really needs tires.
Oh, it looked like a car got really loose and came down and collected Dean.
Oh, wow. Yeah. 2 cars plus. Obviously, the yellow needs to be thrown. Now, what I'm wondering what we're going to see here is in the top 10, you don't pit. If you're outside the top 10, maybe you do come in for tires and take that advantage. I'm really interested to see who fakes, who goes in, and who stays out.
Well,
once the car goes in, everyone behind that car might as well go in. Right?
I'm sure there'll be a few cars that'll stay out just to get the track position. They know they don't necessarily need the tires. They know they don't need the fuel, especially with this caution here. Anybody that pitted too early, this negated that. So everybody balances out on fuel, and it just becomes a question of if you're going to try and take tires. They just now got packed up, so they won't be able to do any pit stops until the next time they come by. And I know that the brothers McCann there, they were faking to pit road big time on that first caution, so it'll be interesting to see if they fake and if they catch anybody.
Yeah, that will be very interesting to see. I'm willing to bet at least P15 back. We're going to see guys just going for tires just to try to get that little bit of edge. Even though over 50 laps tires don't matter that much, when you're that far back, maybe you do grab the tires so that when it comes to those last 5 laps we talked about, they have that advantage over some of the guys that didn't take tires up front.
And you saw a couple of cars getting loose back there. They didn't get tapped or anything. It just, the tire wear will start to affect them just a little bit, and they can lose a little bit of the handling. So it'll be very interesting to see if some of those guys might have, on those last run of pit stops, did they take fuel only and now they need the tires? Strategies. Kevin McCann ducks down and stops on the back straightaway.
Why?
I'm gonna look at the replay, make sure he didn't get hit, but no, he didn't have anybody close to him. He just suddenly made a left-hand turn. Hopefully it wasn't a technical glitch. It looked like it was a quite sudden left-hand turn, so we'll have to see if he gets back out there or not. He is still stopped on the back straightaway.
Yeah, Brian's one. We're gonna have to talk to him after the race. That doesn't make any sense at all.
No, it really doesn't, but interesting to see another tidbit. We've got Adam Rickey and Brian McCann at the front. Then you got Matt Hughes and Scott Snodgrass up there, and you heard Matt say before the race, hey, you know, if I'm going to look for anybody, it's going to be that 22 car, and I guarantee you Scott is not going to pit. I know him too well, and I'm guessing if he's not going to pit, neither is Pudge.
I'm so glad we had the technical difficulty that caused us to work together on this broadcast, because you know your guys so well and I know my guys so well. It's going to be chaos. If you guys are just tuning in on Twitch and Facebook, this you got here at a good time, because this is going to be the restart to watch.
And it looks like nobody in the front 10, the front 15. I'm watching to see nobody's come down pit road, back to 16th. And looks like we've got one car that's come to pit road. Looks like it was Marty Brown again. He was trying to make something happen after his earlier incident. He's several laps down. But nobody else on the lead lap came to pit road. Interesting.
Yeah, I think Marty in his position, he's so many laps down, can I salvage out of this? Go ahead, get tires, whatever.
Yeah, if he gets
when the next caution comes out.
they are packed back up. There will probably, I mean, we have not seen a big one yet. The most, and it looks like, I do believe the other McCann brother just came past, and he is lining back up at the front. Yep, Kevin McCann back up to the front. After whatever happened on the back straightaway, he managed to reclaim his position. So his brother will be to the inside, one row back from him. So we're going to restart here in a minute. Adam Rickey, Kevin McCann, Brian McCann, Matt Hughes, and Scotty Too Hottie Snodgrass are the top 5. Then Kevin Bernheimer, Jeremy Edwards, Justin Swafford, Clint Hackett, and Dakota Bro all round out the top 10.
You know, Doug, I have to throw it to you. You have some of the best fans here watching this broadcast. I just got called out on my restroom break because of the echo in my bathroom. Thanks for that, Becky. I feel great about it.
Becky, you rock, as always. Becky's one that tunes in quite often to actually watch me race and cheer me on. When I'm having a bad day, I can always count on Becky to be there.
Yeah, I will say, Doug, now that we've developed a bit of rapport doing this, we should do this more often. I enjoy co-hosting with you.
I enjoy it as well. This has been extremely fun, and now it's about to get extremely dicey.
I'm sweating already.
I am too. We've got 30 cars packed back up together. I do believe we have all 30 cars back on the track. You've got 5 cars, 1 or more laps down, 25 still on the lead lap, and just a huge pack here. Not that many laps left to go as they come down to take the green. Here they come down the front straightaway. Green flag is in the air, and Adam gets a good jump as looked like Kevin just dove down to get right to the inside. They left Matt, Mr. Pujanowski himself, he is hung to the outside. He's got Bernheimer right behind him to help, though. They get down to the bottom line. And they got Scotty Too Hottie a couple cars back, but it is a fairly even split in the top 10 between both teams, as it looks like the 22 now ducking to the outside, and he's going to have some help.
Well, you expect those McCanns to hook up quick. As brothers and as very good drivers, they know what to do and they're willing to work with each other. They work with each other all the time. I'm really surprised to see Adam Rickey leading those McCanns down the field.
I'm betting that does not last very long. With 8 laps to go, they'll probably wait. You're best off not making your move for the lead until about 2 laps to go. Anybody back there behind them? Caution is out. It looks like Patrick. Let's see what happened here. He gets a little bit loose on the bottom. A couple cars collected there. Looks like it was Patrick. I can't read the last name. Get something.
Well,
Getter.
I'm a big NASCAR fan. I watch all the races, and you know the #1 broadcaster every Sunday loves to talk about trends.
Yeah.
So I have some trends pulled up.
Oh, wow. They ended up collecting several more going through the tri-oval as well. We're going to see a lot of cars hit pit road for that faster pair.
Yep, I think this is our big one. And as trends predict, I expect to see one more yellow before we're said and done.
I would say so too. We've got 3 green-white checkers available, and now we've got John Humphrey, Keith Fonseca, Dustin Slover all collected in that. They are all going to pit road and looking to see who else is hitting pit road right now. But a lot of these guys are damaged and repacking the field. I think we'll see another caution, like you said. I think it'll be, I'm guessing, somewhere in the top 10.
I'm willing to bet as well. With 8 laps to go, you got to press the issue. You got to start running hard. Find your teammates, and then you have 2 lanes, right? One team's going to be inside. One team's going to be outside. They're going to lean on each other, and when you lean on each other, sometimes somebody gets knocked over.
Yeah, and I think the strategy is going to be these guys on the inside. They're not going to want to move up unless they've got a sure thing to get themselves to the front. That outside line, though, once you get going, that's where the momentum is on the front straightaway and on the back straightaway. As you come off the turns, you carry so much more momentum, and if you're in the right position, you can hold that inside line down and cut off some of their momentum. Plus, you have the new drafting effects that, to make it more realistic to what we see in NASCAR. So they're going to see a lot of that side draft moves, and that side drafting is what ends up getting some people into trouble a lot of the time.
Yeah, even though that updated increased their realism for our virtual racers here, it was a big learning curve for them how to learn how to race in that new bubble. And a lot of guys have grabbed onto it. I think everyone here has a good grasp on that concept. But it makes things a lot more interesting, especially on restarts, not being able to go nose to tail. You know, having to have that 2-car draft similar to what we see in real life.
Yeah, and I think another thing that they've fixed a couple of things that have been fixed recently is the multi-groove racing. The track has been heated up. There's been a lot of too wide up on top. That's going to give them a little bit more grip and a little bit more speed up top. They've got that little bit of an air cushion when they get up against the outside wall as well. It feels like there might just be a small pillow between you and the wall, but it can keep you off the wall. And when you have that cushion between the cars and the wall, and you start trying to fight it and trying to pick up any position you can, that's when you start to see problems. I would guess we're going to see some 3-wide racing about the second green flag lap, and I'm betting when that big one comes out of the top 10, it's probably going to happen on the 1 or 2 laps to go.
Yeah, based on information that I have on my side of the broadcast here, track temps are well above 110 degrees, so it is a lot more slick than when we first started, and this is going to affect restarts tremendously. We might even have some guys that spin and, you know, completely back their line up, and that might come into play here with 8 laps to go.
Looks like it's going to be
6 laps to go.
6 laps. Looks like it'll be about lights still on the pace car. Let's take a quick look. Yep, lights are still on, so we should go green with about 4 laps to go. And you mentioned a good point. If anybody at the front spins their tires, it could cause huge problems further back in the pack. You see that happen sometimes where if the leaders or somebody in the top 5 spins their tires, everybody behind them has to check up, and you can see wrecks before they hit the start-finish line at times.
Yeah, it's not even team related. If we have an issue like that, it's going to back up that whole line, inside or outside. So it's really going to affect everyone on both teams, depending on which line they're lined up on at their restart.
Definitely. Looks like the lights are out on the pace car, but They are not stacking up quite yet because I am guessing because that caution happened so quickly, the officials swapped it over to a single line restart. So now we'll start to see everybody move up to the high side here.
This will
And
make things interesting.
it definitely will. It'll give an advantage to those brothers up there and any teammates that are grouped together. They're going to have a bit of an advantage because it is single file. They can help block both lanes, but everybody's going to try and restart as high as possible to prevent the only place you can pass is to the outside on the restart. They're going to try and prevent anybody from passing them on the outside here.
Yeah, we're going to see a lot of chaos as they shuffle back into their inside and outside lines once that green drops. While we're under yellow, quick shout out to the Facebook chat. Boogity Motorsports threw up a big boogity 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 because he obviously can't pick a side to choose. He loves both teams so much. And then a little bit of embarrassment on my side. Becky was actually talking about the McCann that stopped on the track. It was his restroom break. She wasn't calling me out, so I called myself out. And then Sam Barnhart wants to see some old school 4 wide, 4 deep.
I would not be surprised to see that. I've actually on my YouTube channel got some SR8 races from here, and I have seen 5 and as much as 6 wide here. So getting a Cup car 4 wide really not that hard, especially on the last lap. They'll be trying to keep it above the yellow line. We won't see any below the yellow line passes here, but we're going to see a lot of craziness here.
Doug, as we wrap up this broadcast, I don't want to interrupt the actual race that's going on, but allow me to plug our SR8 league when all this is done, because we actually have a professional SR8 champion that runs our SR8 league, and he does coaching. So I want to plug that when we're done here.
Oh, 10-4. All right, looks like the pace car drops off, so Adam Rickey is going to control the restart. He goes right away. He got the jump right away before the green flag is in the air. He is gone. He's got the McCann brothers right there with him. Looks like Pudge is hanging on to him as well. Kevin Bernheimer kind of caught in the middle. He'll catch back up in a moment. Justin Swafford and Scott Snodgrass, Jeremy Edwards, Clint Hackett, and Dakota Bro, they're all lined up, but they're starting to, as they get going, 4 laps to go, there's a little bit of a gap here, and everybody's having to try and catch back up to the leaders.
Yeah, that single file restart really changed the dynamic of how a restart typically works in NASCAR. I still expect to see that yellow cloth unfurl one more time, but let's see how this plays out.
Yeah, and I was expecting that to come in this group at the top 10, and I can just about point to where it's going to happen. It's going to be that car right in front of Scott. Justin Swafford's going to have this momentum as they come running up. He's more than likely going to jump to the outside, try and make the pass on Kevin Bernheimer and that group. And I am guessing once he gets up there, some of these guys at the front are going to say, hey, I'm going to hop up there and try and take advantage of that draft. They're not going to have enough speed, and that might be where we see the caution come from. We'll have to wait and see, but Swafford caught up very quickly.
Well, here we sit 3 to go. If you're going to move, you got to have someone to go with you. It looks like we got a lot of teammates lined up, so let's see how they go. Let's see if we end up double file. I see one breaking off right now.
Yeah, and it looks like Pudge has got his team together.
There they go.
And they're going to form a line to the outside here. They can't quite get there yet as Pudge is trying to get his group going, but they're not getting enough momentum yet. Might take them a lap before they get there.
They've got the cars to do it. They have more cars than the TDR line on the inside with Ricky and the McCann brothers. This is going to be an interesting finish.
It definitely is, and we mentioned it with the team battles going on. They've got more cars in the top 10 at the moment, but TDR definitely has the better positions here. Pudge makes a move to the outside coming off turn 2, and he is obviously going to have the help. He's got Scott there. He's got Clint Hackett, and he's still got some teammates down to the inside that are starting to move up. And they split the TDR guys just a little bit. That gives them another advantage because those TDR guys can't push as hard until they get pulled back together.
Very nice move by Team Nowski, splitting up those 2 McCann brothers. That was strategic, that was intentional, and that was perfect.
And it just doesn't look like the Pudge group can get their line formed right now. Final lap, white flag is in the air. It is going to be.
Here we go.
And it is getting 3 wide back here. Scotty Too Hottie up top, and they've got one looking up the middle. Can't quite get there. That front group is single file, but I can tell you some of these guys right here, they go. They start. Bernheimer looks to the outside. He's got a run on one of the McCanns there. Got a lap car damaged on the inside. Nothing, no problems yet. Oh no! Pudge gets into the back of Bernheimer, and here comes the big one. How many cars will be collected? He slides down the track. I do believe he's going to clear it. White flag is out. There will be no caution. Here they come to the line. It's going to be, wait for it, because Talladega's start-finish line. There it comes. Adam Rickey is going to pull it home with Kevin McCann and Brian McCann right behind him. Clint Hackett comes home third. Clint comes home fourth. Scotty Too Hotty is fifth. Pudge comes home sixth. Justin Swafford seventh. Dakota Brow eighth. Blair Patterson managed to recover from some problems earlier in the race. He comes home ninth. And Jeremy Edwards rounds. Yeah, that was great. He had that late pit stop, and that caution, that late race caution, definitely was an advantage for him getting back up into the fight.
Well, under that checkered flag, we got a double drop on the Facebook chat for TDR. I'm not good at math. I don't know how these points are going to shake out, but how about that finish?
That is definitely a great finish. Just looking at it, the top three are TDR members. Let's see. Clint, Scott, Matt, they are all Pudge members. Looking through my list here, I believe Justin is also a Pudge member. So,
yeah, I think Pudjanowski trumped the top 10, and I think TDR trumped the top 5.
Definitely. It'll be interesting once the points come out. We'll definitely make sure to share those with everybody, as Adam is out there celebrating with the brothers McCann.
Look at that. What a celebration. Top 3, consider all 3 of them winners, right? The 1, 2, 3 TDR. Good for these guys. It's nice to see a multi-car celebration. But the way the points shake out, I think Pudjanowski might have this, and I may need to eat a really hot pepper.
You might have to. And while we're debating the pepper, why don't we see if we can talk to Adam Rickey and congratulate him on a heck of a win.
Absolutely. Let me see if I can get his radio queued up here. Just bear with me 1 second while I type in the secret password. Hey, Adam, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me and Doug here?
That I do.
Hey, congratulations, Adam. Heck of a finish. You guys brought home the TDR guys 1, 2, 3 with the brothers McCann right behind you. On that last caution, you had the single file restart. You got a great restart there. Did you know you were going to have it from there?
Yeah, I was hopeful that, going with the McCanns, they were going to stick with us for a TDR win. And even before we knew it was a single file restart, we already had the restart plan to get Kevin in behind me.
I love it.
Obviously, your plan worked out. You guys are having one heck of a celebration. I'm seeing engines blowing down there now.
Yeah, you don't need them anymore, so blow them up.
Burn it down. Burn it down.
Well, congratulations, man. That was a heck of a finish there at the end. You guys definitely had some cars coming for you, but you managed to pull it off. So congratulations. Go celebrate with those McCann brothers.
All right, thank you very much.
All right. And let's see if we can get to the 4th place car, the highest finishing Pudge car, Clint Hackett.
Yeah, bear with me. I'm having technical difficulties. I need to, You said Pudjanowski?
Well, we can talk to him or Clint Hackett, either one.
Let me find Hackett's radio. Hackett, I don't think his radio is working at the moment. You got somebody else you want to bring in the booth here?
Oh, as much as it pains me to do it, let's talk to Scotty Too Hotty. Scott Snodgrass.
Here he comes. You ready?
Yeah.
Scotty Too Hotty, this is Tommy in the booth. You got a read on me, buddy?
Hey, what's up there, man?
Hey, Scott, it's Doug. So, you guys managed to, you didn't get the win for Pudge, but the top 10 is just a bunch of Pudjanowski Nation cars. So, congratulations. What was the strategy there coming to the end?
Well, all of a sudden when we didn't know, we definitely didn't plan and didn't know it was going to be a single file start. So that definitely kind of screwed everything up a little bit there. But a lot of it was communication and helping each other out and staying with each other.
Well, it definitely worked. You were leading a middle group all the way around the track for about 2/3 of the race. You were leading that group around. You had Pudge up in the lead group, you in the second group, and a couple of your guys in the back group. And it looked like the strategy was to split into 3 groups and keep everybody safe. It seemed to work.
Yeah, just kind of planned out. Sometimes in these things, these stricter plate races, especially with the strap package, you just got to kind of play the cards as they go, and they're constantly always changing. So just keep us together and somebody up front.
Well, you guys got it done tonight. I think once the points are tallied, you guys will end up being the ones that won the night overall. Even though the TDR guys won the race, you guys had the most cars in the top 10. So congratulations to you and your whole team.
And thank you for hosting and broadcasting, and definitely shout out to everybody that's behind the scenes doing all this. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks, man. Congratulations.
Got anybody else you want to talk to, Doug? We got a ton of guys up here in the Discord.
Let's see. Since Blair was leading the the TDR team, let's give him a shout out.
I've got Patterson. He's Red Light Radio. His radio is not connected anymore.
Let's see. Let's try and talk to one of the McCanns. You pick.
Both McCanns have disconnected their radios. You can't just talk to celebrities.
I guess not. Apparently not. Let's see. Who else is one of the senior TDR drivers that we could talk to?
I've got Andy Shaner, Keith Fonseca, Marty Brown. Those guys are pretty high up in their ranks. Andy's probably the best. You want me to pull Andy in?
Yeah, let's talk to Andy.
Hey, Andy, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me?
Yes, sir.
Hey, Andy. Congratulations tonight. That you came home with the top 12. You were back and forth a lot of the night. You were further back, and there with that last caution, you managed to make a comeback. How was the racing out there?
Well, it was it was a lot of fun. It was tight racing for sure. I know a lot of TDR guys were definitely working together. We weren't trying to pass each other really for position, rather than getting a train together to pass the Pudge team. It was just awesome racing with all these TDR guys that working together. It was fantastic.
Now I got to ask. We saw a little bit into the race, about 15 laps in, the pack had pretty well broken up, and there were 3 distinct packs, and everybody stayed single file. Was that part of y'all's strategy, or was that more on the Nowski guys?
It seemed like there may have been some strategy on the other side to maybe break things up. It's kind of what we noticed, maybe to slow things down or try and break up the TDR crew. But I'm not sure. We just kind of wanted to get our guys together, and wherever they fell together, we ran there, and then we'd get a run somewhere, we'd go for it.
I'll tell you, Andy, real quick. I'm sure you're going to watch the TV coverage back, but Pudge and Nowski pulled a beautiful move to break up the McCanns with about 5 to go. It was a beautiful attempt.
Yeah, we understand. We the TDR's got a little bit of a distinct advantage, as we're not streaming the race, and we had a little bit of inside information that he was going on the outside on the restart. So kind of knew it was coming.
Yep. Streaming your in-car is technically a disadvantage, especially if the spotters are keen enough to pull that stream up.
And listen in.
Well, Andy, I love you, brother. I can't wait till our broadcast tonight for the Veterans Only League on BACC Sports on YouTube. And we'll see you then, but we've got a few more drivers to talk to. Love you, brother. Team TDR for life, even though, we can't pick favorites at broadcast. But obviously, we have one broadcaster from each group.
That's right. Yes. Go Team TDR. This is first one's in the book. I haven't really added up the points yet, but I'm pretty sure looking at the standings, we took the victory tonight.
Right. Well, there's a lot of math going on in the chat right now, so we'll be sure to fill you in before you add it up.
All right, thanks.
Take care, Andy.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, so Blair Patterson actually turned his microphone or his radio back on, and before we pull another driver in, we just got some math updates in the Facebook chat, and I don't know if these are accurate numbers, but I saw 5 TDR, 5 Pudge in the top 10.
Oh, interesting. I'll have to recount that. I didn't. I thought looked to me like Pudge had more, but
I think you're correct, Doug, but the chatter in the chat is 5 TDR, 5 Pudge. You want to go ahead and pull Blair in here and see how he felt about the whole event?
oh yeah.
All right, let me go ahead and get him queued up here on his radio. Hey, Blair, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got a read on me?
Yeah, buddy, I got you.
Hey man, congratulations tonight. You came home ninth, but you had a rough bit. You stayed out after the green flag pits, and it kind of bit you, but that caution came out, and you managed to recover quite well.
Dustin and I, we were running in the back with that first caution that came out on like lap 8 or whatever it was. Dustin and I were like way in the back, like we were 22nd, 23rd, something like that. And we said to each other, heck, let's put gas in this thing. You never know. Maybe pit strategy will get us back up to the front. You never know what's going to happen. Super speedway might see the big one. You never know, right? So Dustin and I came down pit road, topped it off with fuel. So we had approximately 8 laps better gas than everybody else. So we were out front there for a little bit, and we just didn't have enough help out there. If we had a couple more guys, that strategy would have worked out a little bit better. But luckily enough, we got the caution, got everything scored back up, and got to bring the old 91 home in ninth, I think you said.
Yep, yeah, you came home ninth after starting, I believe it was 22nd, so that was a heck of a way to round out the night.
Yeah, just beating, banging, bumping, grinding. A lot of really good teamwork out there, and there's a lot of really good racing, even amongst non-teammates. I raced against a lot of Pudge guys really well. I felt like I was around Powell. Unfortunately, I got into him on that first caution. Raced against Hyde a lot tonight. I mean, every time I looked up, it looked like I saw that Jordan Jumpman in my rearview mirror sitting ahead of me there. And then, of course, raced with a lot of my teammates, Kevin, Dustin, Jim. So was around a lot of those guys all night long.
Yeah, I mentioned early on in these super speedway races, at the beginning of the race, no one's going to win on lap 1, and everyone's your teammate. Anyone that'll work with you that you feel like you can kind of trust a little bit, you use them a little bit until you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've been looking for that lap 1 paycheck for like 20 years now. Still yet to find it. So
I don't know how much you think that check is worth, but I'll go ahead and send you one for the inaugural that you won for us.
Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
A whopping 35 cents, I think I see on my desk here.
Oh wow! Well, that'll cover the stamp, so I'll get an envelope full of air. It sounds like.
Oh, stamps have gone up. You're gonna owe me 4 cents. Yeah, it's a racing deal. You always owe.
Jack Roush once said, if you ever want to make $1 million in racing, start with 3.
But Blair, love your stream. You're one of the Pudjanowski types. Blair Patterson Pit Road on Facebook and Blair Patterson Racing. Your stream is awesome. You got that high octane positive energy just like Pudge brings. So we appreciate you coming out and supporting the TDR side of things. It's unfortunate that you wound up in 9th, but a hell of a comeback tonight, brother. Hell of a comeback.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad, I was invited to do this, and I've been with TDR for it feels like 10 years, but I don't think TDR has been around that long yet.
Not yet, but it definitely feels like it. Try fielding all the messages.
Oh, you guys have a way tougher job than I do. I just go out and look pretty and race and try to win, and then I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I got the easiest gig in the world.
Absolutely. Blair, well, we appreciate you coming out. Hell of a comeback tonight. Appreciate you supporting Team TDR. And we got a few other drivers we need to talk to before we get out of here. So best of luck tonight.
I got one more quick thing. You guys out there watching, make sure to hit that like and follow button. It helps these streamers out more than you guys understand. Hit that
Absolutely.
like, hit that follow, hit that share if you haven't already.
All right, thank you, sir. Let's see if is Pudge still around where we can talk to him?
Pujanowski has turned his radio off. The only person left from the Pujanowski team with his green light still on is actually Dustin's lover.
Okay, let's try and talk to Dustin.
Hey, Dustin's lover, this is Tommy up in the booth. You got to read on me, buddy? Dustin's lover. Dustin Slover. Dustin's lover. Well, it appears that despite the green light, his radio is not actually on, so I'm going to go ahead and put him back. We got a ton of TDR guys to talk to if you want any of them.
See, did the McCanns disappeared? Who is next down the list?
The McCanns are at such a level of celebrity, I don't even think they were in the Discord. Pudge just jumped back in. I guess he heard us talking about him. His ears must have been burning. Unlike, I can't wait to see the math because I would love to see his tongue burning. Because if it's not his, it's going to be mine. And I'm so nervous about the results. You ready for Pudge again?
I am ready.
Matthew S. Hughes. This is Tommy in the booth. You got to read on me?
I got to read on you, brother.
I heard you go by another name, right? Not Matthew, but what's your other name?
Well, growing up, I went by Pudge, and then in high school they put Nowski on it, so it's been Pujanowski since.
Never heard of you.
All right, so we have to ask the question. You guys had quite a few. You didn't get the win tonight, but you guys had quite a few guys in the top 10. So who's looking at the top 10 there, who do you think is going to be eating the hot pepper?
Well, I honestly, I think we all know who that's going to be, and that's going to be myself probably. TDR had those top 3 guys running pretty good tonight. They were working together, and they made things happen, man, where we couldn't.
Well, shout out to you, Pudge. The math, we can't verify this, but the math I saw in the Facebook group chat on how to suck at iRacing was 5-5 in the top 10. Hell of a showing. Super speedway racing is so difficult, and I think both teams performed phenomenally.
And we sure did. I mean, honestly, when we had to pit under green and all that, I didn't know how the race was going to end up. And we caught those cautions, and we at least had a fighting chance there at the end. And I'm proud of my guys for what we did, and I can't wait for the next one.
Man, I'm not good at math, and I've got my scientists working on it, but I hope it ends up that you're eating that pepper because I don't want to eat that pepper, buddy.
I'm just going to say that's a big how about no.
Well, maybe when you're eating, if it helps, you're eating that hot pepper, maybe somebody could throw some flour in your mouth. I mean, it's happened before.
We'll do the ground cinnamon challenge then.
Now, knowing his kids, they're probably going to run up there with like squirt guns full of hot sauce in his eyes. Like,
give them any ideas. They watch this thing.
I hope they're watching because I was totally trying to give them ideas.
Oh. Well, I got to say, you guys had a heck of a battle tonight. You were up there battling with those top guys the whole time. Your team was pretty evenly spread out and pretty strong in every group you guys were in. And then when it came back together, it looked like at the end there, you guys just couldn't get connected into a cohesive unit to get to the front.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. And, it's like we're kind of different than TDR. Them guys been racing a long time, and we've been racing for a little while now together, and we just need some more track time together and understand where each other runs and where we're comfortable at and how to make things happen with each other. But it'll come soon, man. I can't wait to see how this season plays out, though.
Us either, man. Congratulations. Either way the pepper goes tomorrow, best of luck to you, buddy.
Hey, buddy, I appreciate it. You guys make sure to go follow and like all these streamers out here. How to Suck at iRacing. Thank you so much for the broadcast, man. You're the bomb, buddy. Yes, sir.
Well, we changed it to TDR. Now it's Yes Sauce because we also sell barbecue sauce.
Oh. Nice.
Take care, Matt. Appreciate you putting this together with your group and our group, man. This has been a lot of fun, me and Doug hanging out up here. We wouldn't be able to do it without you and your excellent followers. Tremendous people. You got some good guys behind you.
Man, and I appreciate you guys for doing it. But y'all have a blessed day tomorrow, guys.
All right,
you too
man.
now.
Okay, before we forget, you wanted to shout out to your SR8 series.
Yeah, before we run, so we've actually picked up a gentleman named Austin Riley. Austin Riley is actually a professional radical driver. He runs the SR3 series, which is the current SR model for that hobby class series. But he actually runs an SR8 league Tuesdays 8 p.m. and he does coaching Mondays from 7 p.m. Eastern to 8 p.m. Eastern. This kid shaved 9 seconds off my Watkins Glen lap time in that car. Tremendously beneficial to listen to what this guy has to say when it comes to running these radicals. And the league itself is fun, but just come and learn from this guy. He will improve you if you, any kind of road course racing you run. This kid is incredible.
That is awesome. I have a GT racing team that we did the 24 hours of Daytona. We're going to do the 24 of the Nürburgring, and we've got a couple of road course ringers from the UK that give us the same level of coaching. So I can imagine what it's like having a pro driver out there to help educate you guys.
Even if you can't run the league, if you can make that coaching session, the 1 hour, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern on Mondays. This guy, in 2019, his second season in Radicals, he ran 14 races, won 10, and podiumed 14 out of 14.
Wow.
And going back to Tyler Daniels, supporting autism, Tyler was the guy that brought us all together. He's autistic. Austin Riley happens to be autistic. It's beautiful, man. He is such a nothing can limit you kind of guy that I can't even describe how awesome it is. You really need to come check out at least his coaching seconds, even if you can't make the league.
Awesome, man. That is great. And a huge shout out to everybody involved tonight and BACC Charities, McConey, obviously Pudge, and the entire group at TDR. Thank y'all for having us out. This was a heck of a night.
Well, now that we've put the two groups together, that we do need to change this name. I love the branding of How to Suck at iRacing, but you're so much better than that name, brother. You're so much better than that name.
It actually started out as a joke and became so popular that I was like, at one point I was actually working on transitioning just to the initials and then eventually something else. And it became such a popular and recognizable thing. I said, you know what? I'm just going to stick with it. And the joke the other day was I finally broke down and got VRS. And I was asking some guys, well, what happens if I actually start getting better? And they're like, well, you could be how to be mediocre at iRacing.
I tell you, man, I love what you do. I've watched some of your streams before we got. It was a complete pleasure and honor to co-host with you as I ran the audio and you ran the video. We need to do this again next event. This was a good time.
It was, and I will see you in 2 weeks for that.
All right, brother. We'll do your sign off again before we run out. BACCcharities.com, BACC Sports on YouTube, TylerDRacing.com, McConey Setup LLC.com, B&B Raps on Facebook, and then I can't do them all. But those are all my shout-outs for now. Sorry, I forgot the other guys. I can't remember.
It's all good. Don't forget to check out Pudge Nowski and the Nowski Nation. Don't forget to follow How to Suck at iRacing on Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. And we have a website now, htsai.net, that has got a lot of work, but we've started putting some of the broadcast stuff out there, and we'll have some of the racing stuff out there before long as well.
Yep, get on that website. Y'all, if you're still tuned in, like, follow, share this How to Suck at iRacing guide. Doug has been a pleasure to work with all night. Even pre-race, we were already getting along. And pretty soon, either TDR or Pudjanowski, once we get the math figured out, somebody's eating a Carolina Reaper this week.
I'm looking forward to watching that.
That's got to be something we got to watch.
All right. Well, thank everybody for tuning in. Tommy, thanks for being a part of this. This was a heck of a good time, and y'all go off and have a great evening.
My pleasure. Thank you.